It was a dark and stormy night in the small town of Willowbrook. The wind howled like a mournful spectre, and the rain beat against the windows of the old Victorian house on Willow Street. The house had stood vacant for years, its sinister reputation keeping potential buyers at bay. Local legends told of a malevolent presence that dwelled within its walls, a poltergeist that had tormented anyone who dared to enter. The house had been the residence of the Anderson family, who had mysteriously disappeared without a trace 50 years earlier. The townsfolk whispered that their souls were forever trapped within the cursed mansion, their anguished spirits fueling the malevolent force that now resided there. One fateful evening, a group of thrill-seekers gathered in front of the ominous house. They were daring enough to spend the night inside, determined to uncover the truth behind the legends. Among them was Sarah, a young paranormal investigator, and her boyfriend, David. The moment they crossed the threshold, an eerie chill settled in the air, and the atmosphere turned oppressive. The house seemed to come alive with sinister intent. As they ventured deeper into the darkness, the floorboards creaked beneath their feet, and the shadows danced menacingly. As the clock struck midnight, the real nightmare began. Unseen hands tugged at their clothing, their hair, and their sanity. The temperature plummeted, and the group heard ghostly whispers that echoed through the halls, repeating snippets of the Anderson family's last conversations. Chairs levitated and crashed to the floor, while old photographs of the family distorted into grotesque, otherworldly visages. Sarah, equipped with her EMF meter, tried to make contact with the spirits. A voice whispered in her ear, "Get out." But they pressed on, determined to confront the malevolent force. They reached the basement, the darkest and most foreboding part of the house. There, they found a hidden room, covered in strange symbols. It was a portal to the spirit world, a gateway the Andersons had unknowingly opened years ago. The poltergeist had been unleashed, and it hungered for vengeance. With an ear-piercing shriek, the poltergeist materialized, a twisted, nightmarish specter. Its form shifted and contorted, a grotesque amalgamation of the Anderson family's tortured souls. It lunged at the group with a deafening roar, sending them scrambling for the exit. The house itself seemed to rebel, walls closing in on them, and the floor buckling underfoot. The poltergeist's terrifying wails reverberated through the very foundation of the mansion. Sarah, her voice trembling, beseeched the spirits for mercy, revealing the truth of the Andersons' disappearance. As the malevolent force absorbed this revelation, it slowly began to dissipate, its rage quelled at last. The house trembled one final time before falling silent. The group staggered out of the house, forever changed by their harrowing encounter. The poltergeist, its thirst for revenge sated, faded into the shadows, returning the cursed mansion to a sinister stillness. The house on Willow Street would forever remain vacant, a chilling reminder of the malevolent poltergeist that dwelled within, and a testament to the darkness that could consume those who dared to seek its secrets. Years passed, and the legend of the house on Willow Street continued to grow. Its ominous presence loomed over the town, casting a long shadow over the once quiet neighborhood. Local children dared each other to approach the house, but none would set foot inside. It had become a place of grim fascination and dread, attracting thrill-seekers and ghost hunters from far and wide. One day, a renowned paranormal investigator named Professor Richard Thornton arrived in Willowbrook. He had heard the tales of the malevolent poltergeist and was intrigued by the challenge of unraveling the mysteries that surrounded the house on Willow Street. Armed with state-of-the-art equipment and a team of experts, he set up a base of operations in the town. As Professor Thornton delved into the history of the Anderson family, he uncovered more unsettling secrets. It appeared that the family had a dark and hidden connection to the occult, and their disappearance was shrouded in even greater mystery than anyone had suspected. The professor believed that the key to putting the restless spirits to rest lay in understanding the family's past. With each investigation, the paranormal activity within the house intensified. The malevolent force seemed to recognize the professor's intrusion, and it retaliated with even greater fury. Shadows moved independently, objects flew through the air, and blood-curdling screams echoed through the night. The professor and his team were pushed to their limits as they struggled to gather evidence and make contact with the vengeful spirits. In the darkest hours of the final night of their investigation, a séance was conducted. The team gathered in the basement, the epicenter of the paranormal activity. Candles flickered ominously as the professor invoked the spirits of the Anderson family. A chilling silence enveloped the room, broken only by a faint whisper. It was the voice of a young girl, Emily Anderson, who had been the youngest member of the ill-fated family. She revealed the truth that had been concealed for decades. The Andersons had unwittingly stumbled upon a malevolent force while dabbling in forbidden rituals. The poltergeist was a manifestation of their own transgressions, and its rage was fueled by their guilt and torment. In a heart-wrenching plea, Emily begged for forgiveness and release from the eternal torment that bound her family and the malevolent entity to the house. The spirits of the Andersons wept, their wails echoing through the house, and their presence slowly began to fade. With a final, shuddering breath, the malevolent poltergeist was banished, and the house on Willow Street fell into silence once more. Professor Thornton and his team had succeeded where all others had failed, finally putting the restless spirits to rest. The house, now cleansed of its dark history, slowly began to decay, its foreboding facade crumbling into ruin. The town of Willowbrook heaved a collective sigh of relief, as the curse that had gripped the neighborhood for decades was finally lifted. The legend of the house on Willow Street, with its malevolent poltergeist, would be remembered as a cautionary tale, a grim reminder of the consequences of meddling with the unknown.